The cabin had been locked for 20 years, and the silence inside it felt heavier than the dust that coated every surface. As the veteran pushed the door open, the hinges groaned like they were warning him not to step inside, as if the past itself was about to rise and speak. The air smelled of old wood, pine, and something unfinished. He did not know it yet, but within hours, his understanding of his grandfather, his own war, and his entire life would be shaken by what his dog would uncover beneath the floorboards. If you believe in silent heroes, second chances, and the hidden sacrifices that shape generations, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that some truths wait patiently to be found. His name was Ethan Cole, a Christian veteran in his early 30s who had returned to the United States carrying scars no one could see. Combat had taught him discipline and endurance, but peace had proven harder to survive than war. When his grandfather Samuel passed away, Ethan volunteered to clean the old family cabin tucked deep in the Appalachian woods. The rest of the family wanted to sell the land quickly, but Ethan felt pulled there for reasons he could not explain. Samuel had raised him after his parents died, yet he had spoken little about his own past. The cabin was one of the few things Samuel had never allowed anyone to touch. Ethan brought only the essentials and his dog, Ranger, a quiet and observant German shepherd who had stayed by his side since Ethan's discharge. Ranger had learned to read Ethan's moods better than any human ever could. As Ethan stepped into the cabin, Ranger paused, ears alert, nose working the air as if the walls themselves were whispering secrets. The cabin was small but sturdy, built by hand decades earlier. A stone fireplace dominated the room. Old military photographs hung crooked on the walls, all faded and ensigned. Ethan noticed something unsettling immediately. There were no pictures of Samuel as a young man, no uniforms, no medals, just landscapes, scripture verses carved into wood, and shelves lined with worn notebooks sealed with twine. Cleaning was slow and emotionally draining. Every object felt like it carried weight. Ethan found letters addressed but never sent, prayers written on scrap paper, and a Bible with pages marked so often the edges were soft as cloth. The deeper he cleaned, the more it felt like his grandfather had been preparing the cabin not for visitors, but for confession. Ranger, meanwhile, grew increasingly restless. He circled the same corner of the room repeatedly, scratching at the floor near the fireplace. Ethan tried to calm him, but Ranger persisted, whining softly, pawing with focus that felt intentional. Eventually, Ethan knelt and noticed something he had missed. One floorboard was newer than the rest. When Ethan pried it open, time seemed to stop. Beneath the board was a hidden compartment. Inside lay a rusted metal box wrapped in oilcloth. Ranger sat down immediately, calm now, as if his task was complete. Ethan's hands trembled as he opened the box. Inside were medals, not just one or two, but many, Purple Hearts, Bronze Stars, identification tags from soldiers long gone. Beneath them were sealed letters in a single, tightly bound journal. The journal shattered everything Ethan thought he knew. Samuel Cole had not been a simple carpenter. He had been a combat medic in Vietnam, part of a classified unit tasked with impossible missions. According to the journal, Samuel had disobeyed direct orders to save civilians during a massacre, smuggling wounded children and villagers through jungle paths under fire. He had treated enemy soldiers and American soldiers alike, believing life did not change value based on uniform. For that, Samuel had been court-martialed, stripped of rank, and ordered to disappear quietly. The medals in the box were not his awards. They belonged to men who died in his arms. Men he promised would not be forgotten even if the world erased them. Each dog tag was accompanied by a handwritten note describing how that soldier lived, laughed, and prayed in their final moments. Ethan collapsed against the wall, breath shallow, chest tight. His grandfather had carried a war heavier than Ethan's, and he had carried alone, without recognition, without honor, without complaint. Suddenly, all the quiet nights, the strict discipline, the deep faith, and the refusal to speak of the past made painful sense. As Ethan read through the night, he realized the cabin was not a home. It was a memorial, a sanctuary, a place built to hold the weight of memory, so others would not have to. The next morning, Ethan did something he had never done since returning from war. He prayed out loud, Days turned into weeks. Ethan delayed the sale of the cabin and contacted historians and veteran organizations. The records matched. Samuel Cole's story had been buried, but it was real. Families of the fallen soldiers were located. One by one, the medals and dog tags were returned, accompanied by copies of Samuel's notes. What followed changed Ethan's life. Letters arrived from families who had waited decades for answers. Some cried, some forgave, some finally found peace. And with every letter, a piece of Ethan's own guilt loosened its grip. He began speaking publicly, not as a hero, but as a messenger for a man who never asked to be remembered. The cabin was restored, not sold. It became a retreat for veterans struggling to return to civilian life. Ethan stayed on as caretaker, guiding others through silence, faith, and healing. Ranger aged gracefully there, forever alert, forever loyal, as he understood he had uncovered something sacred. Just before the ending, please comment below and share what this story meant to you. Your voice might help carry these memories forward. Some heroes fight loudly. Others bury their sacrifices beneath floorboards, trusting that one day, someone with the courage to look deeper will find them. And sometimes, it takes a loyal dog to remind us that truth has a scent that never fades.